Welcome back, everybody. It's 8 o'clock on the 22nd of May. I'm Drift Johnson. This is Scuffed Epoch. You're watching Latent Space Live. This is now episode 147, and I hope the audio is working. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. As always, hello Kurt Curtis, hello Full Dive Media, hello Vascular Detagamatron, and also Mr. Fernicar. Please like and subscribe. I don't always say that. Give us a like. So anyway, here it is. My Civit AI profile, Drift Johnson. As you can see, these are all open source models that we've trained. A lot of them we've done the data set on stream. This past 150 beautiful shows we've done since Christmas. Hello, Crozer. Welcome, welcome. I've kind of always been active, but the channel is only like a year old. And we had to rebrand it as well because we were conflicting with something else. But we're here. So what's the first thing I want to show you guys? Well, I think the new bar has been reset, which is what I said on the Discord. Don't forget, you can join if you're watching live or if you're watching later. So let's take a quick look at VO3. Now, I'm not expecting to be generating much because it costs 75 cents per second, and the thing I used is gone because, I don't know, it'll probably come back though. I put the link up in the inside line. VO3 on Replicate. The only other way to get it is $250 a month subscription, but I tell you what, it's solved. So let's take a quick look at that video real quick. Where is it? General? Where did I put it? It's gone. It's gone. Oh well. There's some pings. So let's take a look at this, shall we?
And today we are so excited to introduce the new show, Scuffed Epoch.
Not bad. If we just go back, the big deal with this one, count the fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. The big deal with this, let's just mute her, is it makes the audio and the ambience all in one shot. So there she is. Let's just, wow. When the hands move, I'm just really checking out the fingers. It blurs enough that you don't, you know, but then it straight to focus and we're good. It's a little bit of a strange pinky length, but that could just be perspective. Oh, the gesture. Okay. Do you know, it's really good. There's no fingernails, is the only thing I'd say. It's hard to even catch it, you know. Oh, she's doing another gesture. But like I said, this is super impressive, and this is the future of open source, by the way. Whenever a big breakthrough comes out like this, you can expect it to, 1, get cheaper, and 2, eventually make it to local. So it was only actually able to make the audio for 6 seconds, then it went silent for the last 2 seconds. She continues to talk and gesticulate. No sound. But yeah. Did a tweet about it. I think we actually did 2. I think I did. Well, let's see if we can find it. Ah, here we go.
Scuffed Epoch Show.
Here we go.
Don't forget to subscribe to the new Scuffed Epoch Show on YouTube.
Now, let's analyze. Computer, enhance. Enhance grid 4:4. Okay, we got some teeth. We got some teeth that are changing shape. That tooth there, and her lower teeth have become one tooth. And here she has no front teeth. But the thing is, it's happening for like a frame or 2, and you don't notice it because the lip sync's so good. So you can tell by the teeth. Okay, so my initial analysis is, yeah, it's really good, but you can tell from the tooths. So that's the one giveaway. Before, I'm sure there are other tells, but teeth are still a tell. But this is basically solved, guys. It's so good.
Don't forget to subscribe to the new Scuffed Epoch Show on YouTube.
If anything, the other thing is the frame rate seems to speed up and slow down a bit, but I'm being a nitpick right here. This is an amazing leap to the future. So let's just have a look at the stats. What did we actually get? You know what I mean? Because there might be some trickery. I bet it's just standard affair, but it's always good to check. So we have 24 frames per second. The data rate is quite low, actually, for 720p. Audio is mono, which is interesting. I bet they're doing like a mono mix and then didn't do it to stereo for some reason. But yeah, 8 seconds, only 6 of which has audio. Okay. So We're getting more Johnson lore from Vascular de Gamatron tonight in the chat. It's I should really like go back and collect it all and put it into a machine, and we could turn it into a saga. That'd be quite fun. I'm not sure exactly which episodes he's put the lore in though. Yeah. Okay, so here it is. 720p, so it's on par with what we make, but it's just much more quality, so I like that. So obviously if you wanted to use this, you're gonna have to go over to FAL, and you know what, I'm gonna try it again because this prompt didn't work, and maybe we'll actually get a result. Let's see if it's still there. So we're gonna go over to replicate. And this will probably cost me about $8. Less. $5. Oh, it's gone. Man, you got to get those links I drop fast, guys. That was even up for 6 hours. Holy shit. That wasn't even... It's gone. It's been deleted. And it was official, look. Google VO. So if I go to Google, what do we get? VO2. See, it was official. They took it down. Ooh, the plot thickens, guys. So that's there it is. They took it down. I guess it was too popular. It was getting hammered. I didn't get to see what the number was before it got taken down. That's a shame. I put out the thing and the link's dead. They were making a big deal about the launch today as well. Well, as far as I know, the only other way to get Google VO3 is from their, look at this, Meet Flow, AI-powered filmmaking. See, all the influencers are getting their thing done right now, right? And then they've cut everyone else off. Okay, I bet there's a way of doing it. Hang on, 2 days ago, here we go. 2 days ago on Vertex, Imogen 4. Oh, hang on. I'm not being funny, guys, but this is catching up. Imogen wasn't really very good, if you ask me. Like, but then again, I didn't try Imogen 3, so I'll reserve that statement. But Imogen 2 wasn't impressive. But this. So the API is pretty straightforward. Google Gen AI SDK for Python. Drop 3 bones and go ham. Yep, exactly. That's what it's about. Hello, Control Art. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, like I said, VO3. Man, what a cool. Is this yeah, VO3. Ready? Copyright strike. Oh wow, look at the quality of the pixelated HD streaming. Man, that's something else. Yeah, I'm not gonna, it's not fair to show it like that. It's literally not fair. It's way better than that. I'm not gonna show you a bunch of compressed YouTube junk. Sorry guys. You know what I mean? You already see enough of that on everywhere, right? Okay. So anyway, yeah, you can get it. Cool. It works. Again, if you missed it, let's just show you the demo I managed to get out of it. So I put it up on a tweet, and something went wrong. It's okay.
So excited to introduce the new show, Scuffed Epoch.
Not bad. Not bad for one shot. I was just literally like an attractive woman with red hair announcing a new TV show called Scuffed Epoch on YouTube. That was it. It was too easy. No, I don't want to do that. Anyway, get rid of that. Meanwhile, I'm working on the last of my 75 final. We've done all of the animation already, so here's the current animator, the showcase loop. You've already seen it, but I used my latest folder for this one. Some of them aren't, like this last one, it's got two Sharonas, which is definitely not canon. However, I'll just pull those ones out. Already done all of these, so actually let's not forget WAN. Yeah, so actually, it's got 22 of these left to go. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the VO news. Like I said, VO3, like, it's too expensive. Like, to be honest, if it was there, I would have run another video to show you guys, but it would have taken a little while to come through, like 5-10 minutes. And to be honest, we were getting a lot of failures. I think it's because people were just hammering the API, guys, and it just fell over. So they took it down. Just like every time something is good, its popularity killed it before it even got out the gate. Website just fell over, I guess. But yeah, what we're doing here is we're taking these little animations that I have made. We're putting a cathode ray effect with glow, color bleed, and a little bit of noise. Just using a standard static. But then we're using film grain effect V2, which is a video node, but it, you know, this is video, it's just frame sequence, you know. Using the unstable signal preset, which is probably a different, this is an example, not the one that's being used. Uses an expression to do noise over time with a scale of 0.08, and you end up with this fuzziness, which is nice. It's nice for print, and I think it looks good on video. It always gives you like a preview of the first frame, just so you can sort of see what you're working with. After that, it's going into my video interlaced upscaler V2, which is just going to do a quick upscale with bicubic bob, temporal 2 and edge 03. Like I said, it's got motion compensation, so it's going to do its best to give us a nice result, which is going to be, in this case, 2048 by 2048. Which is nice because when I want to put that into video, I'll actually be scaling it down slightly, which again will help to make it look more natural with all the noise and stuff, with all the noise effects we're doing. The aberration is something I just like to do. You know what I mean? I put that effect on everything, so it's just fun to put that on. You don't have to do that. It's one of the options in here. Let's see, where is it? It's probably color bleeding. I think it's color bleeding. Alright. And so anyway, that's just running in the background, so we'll ignore that one for now. So let's move on. I got something new to show you. It's called a link in the inside line that I forgot already. There it is. SVG rotate. So this is our first experiment looking at SVG rotation. Okay, so as you can see, it makes an this is SVG, and what we can do is we can do random symbol. We can rotate the symbol in rotation, random. Okay, and then we can do random colors. Oh wow, that one actually had like a completely different thing on it. I didn't expect that. That's cool. And then we have the ability to pause it, reset, blah blah blah. But here's the thing: we can download the SVG and we can save it, and it's going to record it doing its thing for 10 seconds. Then we got an MP4, which you can then put into various workflows. Now I don't know how to get this into Comfy UI. I really don't. I'm not sure if it's even possible because these things don't have frames. It's got like Flash, you know. It's like a timeline with a keyframe that is over time, so it doesn't actually have frames. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm sure there's a way to do it. Like I say, save it as an MP4 by recording it. And then dump that to frames. That's one way to do it. But like I say, we made this as a little experiment. What's it coded in? This one was Claude 3.7. It was the last thing I did before 4.0 came out, which is what we're segueing into. Claude 4.0 came out, guys. I already maxed out my credits testing Opus. And this is the reason why I'm showing you this, because this already works. It's scuffedepoch.com/svgrotate. You put that in and you'll get this. All right. Now, it's only got limited, you know, I only had time to generate so many different designs. There's a lot of them in here, and you can obviously add your own, but it's clunky because you'd have to put them into the code, right? But everything else works great. And so what I'm going to show you is this and something else. So remember this, because we're going to be coming back to this, right, when we do, because I fed this website to Claude for Opus and said, make it better. And we're going to see what he did. So this is going to be really interesting. But before we do that, I have like a snippet showcase, which was done purely in, what's this? Got a question from Control-Alt-Art. Have you experimented with converting PNG to SVG and then animating them? Yeah, the problem with that is there's too many shapes. Or the problem I had with that was there was too many shapes. I couldn't find a way to create a group from a stack of shapes, and so I had no way of defining what needed to move and what was connected to what. But I'd love to see what you figured out. My solution is to generate 2 different complex shapes, then mask out background, inverted commas, make a group somehow, and then start placing both of them into a canvas, like an SVG canvas, where we can put 2 SVG elements in, like a clip art, I guess. But again, it's like you're actually dealing with a big stack of blobs. It's got more in common with Gaussian splatting, to be honest, but it's not quite that small, you know, bigger shapes, but they overlap and stuff. You were using colors as groups. That's a bloody good idea, but then there'd be so many edge cases, wouldn't there, when you've got a similar palette, like say the character's got like orange trousers and then there's like an orange building, for example. You know, that's but I know what you're saying. It's tricky, man. It's tricky. I think what you really need to do is start with an SVG skeleton. So you want to be doing like a you know, like the VTuber stuff. My next experiment will basically be to make an SVG puppet. Do you know what I mean? Like a Adobe Animator, character animator. Because then what you do is you have it render the raster image as arms and legs to go onto the puppet, and then the skeleton structure is already defined and identifiable and manipulatable. I think because then it would understand, oh yeah, this is connected to this. And I think it'll work just like character animator, but I haven't had time and I maxed out my credits, so that idea has to wait. But feel free to steal it. You might be able to make it work, and you'll probably do it in a completely different way than I would anyway. Okay. So the interesting thing about this is when you change the colors, it does affect the text, and it will go between, because it's changing the text of the stroke and the font color to make it randomly be either one or the other, which is a nice little effect, I think. Okay. But anyway, enough of this. Let's move on. So the next thing, I think I did a full tweet about this one. X.com. Yeah. So if you go over onto this thing here, right? Here we go. Claude Sonnet 4 prompt. You guys, if a regular, will recognize this prompt. Write a single file HTML using Tailwind style CSS, Chart.js, Alpine.js, and Font Awesome, all via CDN only. 2. So that's the thing I gave out a couple of weeks ago now. That's from our good friend, Mr. Super Fake Name. And then I've said to visualize a live moon cycle calendar. Yeah? So the first prompt is making the UI. The second prompt is making the actual code. So it works, I open it works, and then I say we can now enhance this to make the moon phase accurate with fully working code. And then off it goes, right? And the interesting part is the thinking of the deep research, which is what I want to show you. The first part we already know about. The second part was really interesting. But let's show you what the result was first. Here it is on scuffedepoch.com/moon_phase.html. Now this is actually accurate. It does predict the correct new moon. We are currently on the waning crescent. Okay. Now I don't know about this graph. This graph might not be right. But this is only 2 shots. So like, you know, we could do a lot more, right? But the point is, it's up and it's accurate. And look, It's based on genius astronomical algorithms. Okay, now let's take a look at the Claude chat. Not a new chat, Claude. An old chat. Here we go. So let's have a look at this thoughts. The thoughts. Right, we can now enhance this to make the moon phase accurate, because it wasn't, you know, it was like good, it looked good, but it was just placeholder. So I said, I'll enhance, blah, blah, blah. I said that, and he said, thinking about it. Okay. I'll give you a second to read that. If you're watching later, you can pause it. Okay. Let me search for the most accurate way. Okay. I'll enhance the thing. Let me search for the most current and precise algorithm. Accurate moon phase calculation algorithm 2025 JavaScript. 10 results. Look at what he did. So Sonnet is doing deep research as part of the chat. You know what I mean? It's just built in now. So you don't have to like put it on. We've got extended thinking, but it includes the deep research feature that you used to have to like pay more for. And so now he's doing all this. He goes out, he finds all the stuff. Look, the problem with this, how to do the thing. Okay, it's great. So then he goes through this genius algorithm, accurate, excellent. Yeah, Stellarthane calculator and celestial programming pages. Okay, so off he goes, and he Stellarthane doesn't actually have it, and this one doesn't load. So then what did he do? He said, wow, look at all this, look at this. He did 1, 2, 3, 4, he did five GitHub repos. This is insane, guys. Look, even on my best day, like this would take me all day. Like if I wanted to, I'm going to go and read all of these and actually understand them. Insane. So off he goes, does more research, and he says, perfect. Based on my research, I can now implement a highly accurate moon phase calculation, proven JavaScript. This is, by the way, a task operation that I do for testing. I don't really need this, but it's a good way to be like, it's either right or it's not. Do you know what I mean? At the end of it, if it looks nice and it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, because the moon phase is the moon phase. It's a bit like the beat time thing, which I showed you before. It's either right or it's not right. Anyway. Refined shadow styling algorithm. Yes. He updates the new phase angles. New accurate algorithm. Use the new algorithm. Use the new algorithm. Yep. Clean up, removing the outdated function. Added a footer to give credit to the author of the script. All very professional. And then it gives us our final artifact, which I've showed you. You can't see it right now because of security and whatnot, but you just download it and run it and it's fine. It's nothing wrong with it. As you can see here. Okay. Close that. So then he explains what he's done. And Bob's your uncle, mate. So, like I said, the next thing is to take a look at the next thing, which was obviously taking that first web page I showed you guys. This one, I said, make it better. Now, it ran out of credits before producing an artifact, which sucks. But I can show you a lot about what it was doing before that happened. And then we can have a little play with Sonnet 4, because Opus 4 is an absolute token hog. I think I did get a lot done, though, to be fair. So I started off by giving him the index, which is for this one, the dynamic rotating text generator in SVG. I said we can enhance the website for creating SVG animations with text. We can wait before we think hard about improving this tool. This is another thing that I showed you guys in the inside line. We've got it pinned in there. Okay, something you can just throw in and integrate to your prompt engineering to make it, well, you'll see. So instead of just going ahead and doing it, you'll see what happens. So he reads the thing. Yeah, he reads the web page. He understands what it is. He breaks it down. That's what it does. That's what it is. And then he says, just let me know when you want to brainstorm ideas. Because he said, remember, we can wait before diving in, because I deliberately did this. So it's like, it breaks up the logic and allows you to dose him up a little bit. Now let's brainstorm ideas. So look at him go. The current tool has rotating text around a sender symbol, multiple symbols and color palettes, export options, SVG and video, and basic animation controls. I should think about enhancements in different categories: animation, text, visual, user experience, export and creative tools. And look at what we ended up getting. It's so crazy how he just knows what all of the possible pathways are, and then you get a buffet to choose what do you want to develop into your program. And that some of these things might be really obvious, but it's a bit like remembering a lot of things, you know, when you do the tray, when someone brings a load of stuff in on a tray and shows it to you and then covers it up, and you have to try to remember where every object, and most people can't memorize everything on the tray, okay? So it's the same kind of thing. You can't, like, we all know, like, if you read all of these things, you know what they all are. But at the point of typing in the plan or writing the plan, you get a kind of creative block which stops you from thinking from all these, frankly, obvious options. Now, the implementation of them all is what we're going to need him to sort out for us, right? But what I'm trying to say is, these are really obvious features, a lot of them. But you might not remember all of them off the top of your head. And that's what these things excel at. Parallel thought, parallel planning, and multi-dimensional structure. So he's thinking about all these different things. So anyway, to cut a long story short, and I didn't do the last part because I know that this bit will just make him explode. But one day, you can imagine, you got your AI building the next AI. That's where we're headed. So I said, we can collect these features into a new document named improvementplan.md before we start the update. So you've seen me do this before. Standard affair, right? Animation enhancements, multiple rotation speeds, pulsing breathing effects, orbit animations. Okay, I'm not going to read them all. I've taken some of them out. And so then he said, I've made the plan. And here is our plan. Now, if I was to just download this, I could run this with the original HTML file on Sonnet. It's a bit of a big project. I'd rather try and do it with a lesser LLM now, because it's a good plan, right? And it's a very ambitious plan. There's almost too many things in here. You see what I mean? There's almost too much in here. It's ambitious, and so it becomes a real assault course. Okay, you say to any LLM, here's the HTML and this plan, go, and then we judge it on its result, right? So I do want to try and grab a new local LLM which claims to be good at coding, and just see what it does. It probably makes a load of nothing, right? But we'll give it a go. So anyway, yeah, like I said, so Claude 4 is out. So let's set Claude 4 to do something that we would actually want it to do. Something useful, yeah? Something useful. And so to that end, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to let it take a second stab at Sharona Book 1. Because remember, Sharona Book 1 has several chapters, and I have the original output. It's dosed up already with everything. And by the way, if you use Claude, you want to get on Claude 4 in the chat, the projects you have will already, they'd automatically just work. Sonnet is a direct upgrade to 3.7. So everything you had that was running 3.7, all the stuff I've showed you how to make, all of that stuff, it's all good to go. It's just literally ready to roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the unified narrative operator part of the book writing side of things. So this is like a super cool Writers Club special, all right, because Claude 4 came out today. I've already done some coding tests. Somebody says, how do you measure if something done by Claude is not useful? You can't. If you ask me, real world, it's very difficult to say if it's useful or not. But what I mean is, say I need to write a letter. and I've got notes and I want it to be in letter form, I just use Qwen 3 quantized on a 4GB laptop with Open Web UI. I wouldn't even bother paying ChatGPT or Claude for something simple. Yeah, easy stuff that isn't like, you know, code. You're not trying to write code. You're just writing text out. That can now be done for the most part by these. I don't like to say lesser LLMs because they're not, okay, but they're not the top grade leaderboard winners. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, but for a local LLM that you can run, it's bloody amazing. We got Qwen 2.5 VL now, which is really good. Multimodal, understands imaging, so good. Anyway, it's starting to get really good. Yeah, exactly. I've said the analogy before. You don't need a rocket engine on your shopping cart, and that's what using Claude to do to keep, you know, like for a to-do list. You know, it's like fine, okay, it's cool, but I don't think you really need, you know, yeah. He's kind of better than that. But yeah, so anyway, let's get ourselves ready for this one. So it's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to open up a VS Code because it is a very nice environment to be running in. Okay, and we're going to go to, no, not there, this one. We're going to go to Open Folder, and we're going to hope that my project is still there. It turns out I didn't even write Sharona on this one. Sharona MJ. Right, so it must be somewhere after here. Sharona face. Collector law. Isn't that weird? It doesn't seem to even be here. I think I must have pulled it out. Hang on. Let me check my storage real quick. It turns out it's missing. It's probably on my laptop, which is at home. And it is switched on. I might be able to just remote into it, pinch the files. Let me just have a look here. I might be able to find it. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Obviously, I've got plenty of other books already ready to go, so it's not the end of the world if I can't find this one thing. Books, maybe? Back. My computer's being fun. Writings, narrative buckets. Ah, there's only 2 here. Oh crap. Where is it? I must have written it on my other computer. I hate it. It could have been so simple. That's making the prompts. Yeah, that's not it. Sharona Law. That's gotta be it. Yeah. We made this first. Found it. Okay. I just had too much stuff. Okay, so we have our narrative bucket ready to go. That's the same files that are in here. We have our story, so that's page 0. And this is the Uno Mark 1. That was done with Claude 3.7. So it's already done, in the bag, complete. So let's start with page 0. Let's start with page 0. Oh yeah, I keep doing this. You can't drag from VS Code. There you go, that works. Okay, cool. And then we're going to need the same prompts. So I want to use the same prompts which I used. Science. So up we go. Please use Uno and think deeply about enhancing a single chapter from my book. I'm being a little bit harsh by beating him over the head with that, I know. But it you know, we do this to test things, right? So Uno, I will explain what that is for people that don't know in just a minute. So let's just get him to work first. There we go. Yep. It's page agnostic, so you don't need to put the page number in. I just use this same exact thing every time and it will reference the files in here. The files in here are a narrative bucket. It determines how to write, what to write, who, names, locations, storyline, all kinds of glossary terms, everything, the world, it's all defined by the bucket. The agent's ghostwriting is pre-programmed meticulously. So at this point, he is going to now run a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to show you what he's going to do, but we're going to set him to task first. So this will be the first Uno run with Sonnet 4. I'm actually excited. So let's just we'll leave this open as well, because this is a nice little comparison. We might put them side by side. Okay. So what is Uno? If you don't know what it is, it's part of my narrative spittoon, which uses inversion to write stories backwards. All pre-programmed like a dynamic rag. And as you can see, this is used to expand your chapters once you're done. And it is sort of like a spell check for narrative operation. So, Uno, you're not Uno reverse, by the way, you're just Uno. I don't know why he says Uno reverse. That's a different version of the same thing that does it backwards. Don't worry about that. So you're an advanced literary assistant designed to analyze and enhance story pages while preserving the original narrative integrity. Your purpose is to improve prose quality, expand underdeveloped elements, enrich action scenes, and eliminate repetitive language, all while maintaining the author's voice and intention. And it does have a thing, story page, that shouldn't be set, so I've clearly pasted the wrong thing in here, but it's fine. It won't actually break. It's fine. So anyway, because I'm telling him to do this with a different page, and it will actually just exchange it. It's fine. You can tweak it, and there is a different version which doesn't have the reverse stuff. Anyway, so we'll do contextual assessment. Okay, so this is your context-aware part. He'll do enhancement evaluation, which comes in the Golden Shadow Resurrection, which is underdeveloped elements. Environmental expansion, setting and atmosphere. Action scene enrichment, if there is any, for combat, high intensity, sort of slow down time and things like this. Prose smoothing, flow and rhythm. If there's like jaggedy outputs, it'll sandpaper them down a little bit. And repetition elimination. So in other words, a lot of the time the outputs can be obsessive over certain words and phrases, and this will go through with like a super intelligent thesaurus and attempt to use different analogies or similes or whatever it's doing repetitively. And this gives more detail on each pass. So Golden Shadow, environmental expansion, this is the main one. The bulk of it is it will double the length of the text by including descriptions. So often there'll be parts of your story which are just not described. It's just dry. It's just people saying things, which is fine. But in order to get to like a higher level of prose, you really need to be like giving the reader some sensory details. And so obviously this is what is happening here. Now in the action and scene enhancement, it's going to make it much more dynamic. It's going to focus on things which maybe aren't so important, but in the context of the action, suddenly it gives a lot of depth. The prose smoothing, again, I've already said what that is, but you feel free to read that super fast. And then repetition elimination is exactly what you think it is. Now there are rules, okay? So all dialogue must be preserved exactly as written. No established plot points, character traits, or story elements will be altered. The beginning and the ending of the page must maintain continuity with surrounding pages, and the author's distinct voice and style must be maintained throughout. New content should be woven seamlessly with original text, so it doesn't just append. It will actually scatter things in between the words to make it natural, not just tagging things on, like an append script would. Enhancements feel like natural extensions of author's vision, maintain the tone, vocabulary level, and stylistic patterns, balance added detail with narrative pacing requirements, ensure enhancements serve the story rather than distract from it. So we don't want him to give us some ground-shattering new piece of information. We just want him to tell us, are the walls wet? Is there moss growing there? Stuff like that. So it aims for 200%. Sometimes you get 400 or even 2000%, depending on how obsessed with your story the LLM is and which one you use. But 200% is a nice minimum to aim for. And this is rules about that. And then some quality control. Now, Gemini might get a bit obsessed with this, and he couldn't count words at the time. So he would actually stop, ask you to count the words, and then continue. So I'm sure he's better now, but you know. And anyway, your purpose is not to rewrite the story, but to elevate what already exists, revealing hidden potential, enriching description, intensifying action, improving language and variety while preserving the author's unique vision. The expansion target is not precise. Okay. So, let's see what it did. This is the thing. Where are we? There we go. And, so, on the left, we have Claude 4. On the right, Claude 3.7. Okay. Let's scroll it down a bit. So we've just got the, in fact, let me just put it back to 50-50. And let me just scroll down a bit. So, okay, so chapter 1, The Hunter. Right, so I'm just going to leave that on the screen for a minute. In fact, I'm in the way, aren't I? Right, I'm just going to disappear. He's gone. Fernicar's asking, deja vu when Claude run commands in PowerShell without the initial dot. Yeah. Yeah. Also, don't you find it intriguing why coding LLM does perform better than others at reversed Uno? It is intriguing, but I think it's more down to the fact that Anthropic have always trained their model their way. They're not like the other companies. It's kind of annoying to say it like that, but they've always been ahead. And there's always been way too much hype for a lot of the models out there. Now, I'm not throwing shade or naming any names. I'm just saying I've been using Claude now for, well, since it came out, I've had the Pro sub. And it's never let me down. And it's always just continuously gotten better. And I've never really, sure, there's been a few, sort of hype things that have drawn attention from Claude, but it's never not been good, if that makes sense. It's always been the GOAT. So there is the expression Clauded, yeah, because it's just so good at it. And I don't get paid nothing. I paid my sub out of my pocket, I'm not associated. Anyway, so let's have a look at the quality on this, because on the right we have the output when it was 3.7, and on the left we have the output with 4.0. So this is as good a direct comparison as you're going to get. Now remember, it's not allowed to change stuff. Okay, certain things have to remain the same. So this is about the bits it added on. So I would say we probably need a third thing. We need to see what was the original, don't we? Because then you've got all three then. So oh wait, what? Hold up, I missed. How annoying. There we go, right. Oh, jeez. They need to sort that out. It's like 1 pixel to resize the window. Or you scroll it down. Okay, so Dawn painted the eastern steppes in the hues of orange and gold. Sharona moved through the tall grass. That's what is actually in the that's the draft for the first 2 lines, I guess you could call them, right? So there we have Dawn painted the eastern steppes in hues of orange and gold, and here Dawn painted the eastern steppes in the So that means that after the comma, until it says Sharona moved, which is the beginning of the next paragraph, right? Move through the tall grass, move through the So that means everything after the comma, we can consider what we're comparing. So everything after there. So that's the 4.0, and that's the 3.7. So So let's do the 3.7 in the, you know, the sort of grayed out, and this one in blue. So we got Claude 4.0 using, and this is using the Unified Narrative Operator, my agent, which does a whole bunch of like writing tasks. Okay, so the original line is Dawn painted the eastern steppes in hues of orange and gold, and the next line is Sharona moved through the tall grass with methodical silence. Okay, now the bit in blue, that would be Claude 4.0. The bit in white on the right, that would be Claude 3.7. So what do we get? With 3.7 we get the first light creeping across the undulating sea of grass like a molten copper flowing over the horizon. The air hung still and crisp, carrying subtle fragrances of autumn dried grass, morning dew, and the faint mineral scent of distant water. Interesting. On 4.0, the colour bleeding across the horizon like spilled honey warming ancient stone. The air carried the crisp bite of early autumn, sharp against Sharona's weathered cheeks as she breathed in the familiar sense of her territory, dry grass, distant water, and the musk of grazing herds carried on the morning breeze. Ooh, goat piss. It's a lot more atmospheric. Feels a little bit more mature, and also not using words like undulating. Do you know what I mean? The rising sun illuminated her hunting form. I haven't read ahead that far. I'm trying to break this down because this is like the best. Dragon Diffusion says we might be looking at a 1% difference here. Yeah, true. I agree, but we might also be we also might be thoughtful of the fact that the chimpanzee is 98% similar to the human. So that 1% could be an entire species worth of difference. So, you know, I appreciate it might be 1%, but that's what these guys are fighting over. They're fighting over 1%. And you're not wrong. The difference here could just be the seed. But I do see 4.0 Sonnet giving better quality. But look, that's just one. Okay? That's just one. So what came next? What came next? Because this is a good test case. It's as under control as you're going to get, and there's a lot of complex variables. This is a real world test. Yeah, 1% is basically how the Formula One gets won or lost. Yeah. So let's just put the word wrap on over here so we can see. So Sharona moved through the tall grass with methodical silence, each place step with predatory precision. Her cat-like stance kept her profile low. Wait a minute. Oh, guys. Can you see what I'm seeing? Wow, it's actually doing... Right. So if we take a look at this. Sharona moved through the tall grass. Each step... That's one sentence. Yeah? On the 3.7 version, that takes us to here. Next word, her cat-like stance. Which is... part of the original script as well. Yeah? Stems. The rising sun. Yeah? The rising sun. Right? And so it goes rising sun, appearance, rising sun. So from here, that's what 3.7 did. Yeah? That right there is what 3.7 added. Now, having a look on this side though, precision, it added that. That's something which it's supposed to do all the time, and 3.7 did sparingly. It's in the rule set. So actually 4.0 is following more complex recursive commands in the writing programming. Like the ghostwriter can do commands within commands, whereas 3.7 was a little bit unreliable. So now we move her cat-like stance, kept profile low. And look, it changed again. So instead of nearly invisible amid the swaying stems, it's added a lot. Spine curved in a distinctive arch. Look, all of this is new. All of that is new. So it's added a whole bit in the middle. I think it just carries on from there, doesn't it? Yeah, it just carries on from there. Cat-like stance kept her profile low. Let me just double check the original again. Because it is complicated, right? So the rising sun illuminated her hunting form. A solitary figure melded with the landscape through both skill and appearance. Rising sun. Where is that? Is that gone? Ooh. Wait, no. It's here. It's not gone. I thought it got rid of it. But it didn't. It broke it up into a new paragraph. So we get all that new text. It's doing the blending. Nearly invisible amid is not present. Let's have a look. Nearly invisible amid the swaying stems. Hang on. Nearly invisible. Here it is. Nearly invisible. It's just hard to find because it's been interpolated with the new text rather than just appending and putting the odd word here and there, which is what 3.7 was able to do. It looks like 4.0 can actually place the new write-up naturally within the piece without it feeling strange. So let's just read the full bit. Sharona moved through the tall grass with methodical silence, each step placed with predatory precision, honed through years of solitary survival. Her cat-like stance kept her profile low, spine curved in a distinctive arch that mimicked the great hunters who shared these lands. Those big cats whose territorial markings she had learned to read and avoid. Nearly invisible amid the swaying stems, she became part of the grassland's rhythm, her movements synchronized with the wind's gentle persuasion of the prairie. Okay, it's trying to be a bit floaty, you know what I mean? Prairie, grassland, steppe. Okay, so we can identify some weaknesses. Do you know what I mean? He's turning into a bit of a... But that could be me. That it may be that it said step, 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 and then Uno changed it to a different word, like a jukebox. Yeah, this is very advanced, but I gotta do something like that to really test this, you know? So if we just skip forward to the description of Sharona herself, okay? So the original description was her orange-red bare fur outer garments, sun-bleached by countless seasons, matched the dawn-lit grasslands perfectly. This natural camouflage represented years of adaptation, both of the material itself and Sharona's understanding of when and where to utilize it. The blue-teal silk garments beneath scavenged from ruins so ancient their purpose had been forgotten, even before the Great Regression, provided the necessary layer between rough fur and skin. Now, the fun thing about this, I've said this before, at dawn, orange is grey. It's an interesting thing that people don't know. Dawn and dusk, orange, fur. That's why tigers, how do you not spot a big orange tiger coming? It's because he's actually at low light. They blend in. But anyway, that's like a sidebar, I guess. So where does that start in here? Here it is. Oh my goodness. Oh my, okay. So what I just read becomes, wow, okay. There you go. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Look at that. That's the difference. That's the difference. Right there, you can see it. Now, I'm telling it to do a very complex task. So it's having to do we're making him play a really complicated game to get to this point. But it is, I think, look, you can't eliminate the seed. And if you did this 100 times, you might be able to eliminate the seed. But, one-shot testing where we're looking at the same job, 3.7 versus 4. It says 4 here. It isn't. It was actually 3.7. I just, it'll always say that now. This is an old project. So the next thing, of course, is what's his accuracy like on word count? Because, double? What does double mean to 4.0? What does that mean? So we get the original, get a word count, 1481. 1481. Okay. Alright. And then we will copy that page. This is the 337 output. 3,157. So double, you know, 1,400 to 3,100. It's about double, roughly. I'm not strict about it because it needs to fit. Oh, also at the end, look at this. At the end, it has a prompt for illustrating the end of the chapter. I forgot to mention that. That was something that we did for just this book, which we didn't do for any other book. So you get like chapter relevant illustration prompts as well, which is nice. Because they should be consistent, or you'd think. Right. So now let's get the 4.0. So 3,100 is what we were looking at. So what have we got on this one? 5,160. Okay, so he kind of is a bit of an overachiever. You know what I mean? Kind of a little bit of an overachiever there. Wait, what? Oh my god, do you know why it's... What? Okay. What? Huh? Did I... What? Hang on. Let's not be stupid. I think I copied, like, the entire thing. Oh. It is just written here as text. Okay. That's kind of annoying. So there's a whole bunch of stuff at the end. But hey, okay, let's read his report. So the 5,100 might include a whole bunch of junk that isn't part of the story, okay? Let's just do it again. We'll just manually grab it. It's quickest. It's a lot, though. Okay. Copy that. Okay, that seems a little bit more reasonable. 4,600. Okay, so it's still 1,500 more. So it actually did... It's not... Is it 200%? It was originally 1,400 and now it's 45. So yeah, it's 3x actually. Yeah. Yeah. So it did 3x, not 2x. That's number one. But let's read his report. 1,200 enhanced word count. 1,400. What? He can't count, guys. He doesn't know how to count words. Still, it's interesting. It's probably because tokens aren't words, and you know, he probably doesn't know what a space is. I don't know. 200% target met. Yeah, you can say that again. You overshot it. So, Claude, do 0 to 60 for 1 mile and then hit the brakes. He's like, okay. And like 2 miles later, he hits a wall. What? So, Golden Shadow enhancement. Zebra. So, she has a zebra. Expanded the 6-year partnership with examples of mutual protection and evolved intelligence. Survival technique details, past experiences, added the bear hunt origin story for her fur garments, bronze dagger discovery and predator encounter scars, equipment backstory. Each tool now has a history rather than just existing. Whoa, that's cool. Because I didn't write a story for her tools, guys. I'm being just, you know, straight up. Environmental expansion, seasonal transition details. So we get all the seasonal stuff. Ecosystem dynamics. Evolved deer. That sounds kind of... insidious. Sensory immersion. Astronomical elements. She follows the moon. Hunt choreography. Slowed down the spear throw with detailed body mechanics. I can't wait to I might have to proofread this after the stream, guys. I'm technically still proofreading Empire. I'm on book 3. It's funny as hell. Still got Tower to check. But yeah, I'm thinking I might just do this one tonight. But yeah, like I said, physiological responses, prose smoothing, repetition elimination, replaced repeated terms like territory, survival and hunting with contextual alternatives. No story elements. Oh. Damn. That's crazy. Okay, so obviously I did tell you, you know, this is like page. Do you know what? I've forgotten that word again. There's a problem with my brain tonight. So yeah, if I go into here and I put the prompt again and then I get page 2. He says confidently, reaching for the page. There it is. Page 2 is obviously page 1. They're actually not pages, they're chapters. But you guys probably knew that already. I don't know how many of you guys are new or regular tonight, but we've hammered this one pretty hard, I'd say. Yep, that's good to go. So yeah, new chat, new page, same prompt. And because it's using the project, why won't it show me the details? No, it won't. Yeah, because it's got all of this stuff in here. It's a little bit like loading a LoRa into image to image, you know. It keeps it all on rails in that style with these characters, those looks. Same thing. Oh, only 2 left. This one went really well as well. I think it elevates the images somewhat. And it means you can just make them, you know, there's no like, it's gotten to the point where there isn't like a best collection of images. Now the quality is at the point where they could all be used. You could use them all, you know. A little bit of editing here and there maybe to remove stuff. I mean, like there's images as good as it's going to get in terms of a consistent character and style, right? So at this point what I would be doing is just removing things that shouldn't be, because you know, people in the background aren't canon, stuff like that. Oof, the birds weren't very good. The birds were great, and then we did the technique and the birds were terrible. All of these images were done with Flux Dev as well. Interestingly, Flux Dev, even though it's higher quality, would often make the blue jeans, even though they're not in the dataset at all. So I don't know, it's just something interesting about it. Like Flux Dev is good, but sometimes as the concept will wander. I don't know if it's because there's more data, and so like what you trained on was like a, for lack of a better term, quantization of some kind. I don't know. Is that the last one? Well, obviously we don't want to be wasting our money here, so let's go ahead and make Uno C4. Oh, that should actually be a folder. Go on, go away. I hate it when this happens. Get rid of it. It's just a faff. Oh, now he's trying to make it in the wrong place. Hey. Okay. So now it's like the derailing has destroyed my chain of thought. Now I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. There we go. Uno C4. And inside there we're going to need a page 0.text and a page 1.text and so on until we hit page 6, because that's how many there are. I'm surprised there's new news article about that VO art generator getting taken down. Like, whenever that sort of thing happens with ChatGPT, you see like 50 news articles. Oh, did you know they took this thing offline for 5 minutes? So it is interesting. No one cares. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's what they're all doing right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. But it was great while it lasted. You know, I got a couple of good videos out of it. Was super impressed with VO3. We showed them at the beginning of the show tonight. But I can't show you what I don't have. You know, they pulled the thing down. Google literally took the replicate off. So, I mean, I thought it was like an unofficial thing. And so that's why it got taken down. But when we went to the link, it was literally Google's official replicate account. So I'm guessing what happened was it was getting hammered. Maybe people had figured out a way to make real people. That's probably what it was. That's usually what it is. And then they go, oh no, we're afraid of legal stuff. So then they take the thing down and nerf it. So, you know, with safety protocols. But let's hope it comes back online and they don't bonk it too hard, you know? Because it happens all the time. But I don't know that's what happened, all right? All I know is it ain't there. I put the link out. People were using it for a couple hours. People were sending me stuff they was making and then gone. So you can still get it, but it's $250 a month. So I doubt many people are going to be doing that. Not nearly as many that were prepared to pay for per second, you know what I mean? Per second API. Maybe they turn it back on tomorrow. I don't know. But like I said, it does now represent the best quality, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to get better quality for video. It's way better than Sora. It generates the speech and the background audio, you know. That's hard to beat, guys. That's hard to beat. And everybody is saying it's because they trained it on YouTube. So, I mean, it's all very plausible, you know what I mean? Because they could 100% do that, and they would 100% do that, in my opinion. Oh, bro, this is terrible. I can't be doing that. I'm losing all the formatting. I need the formatting. I think I'm going to take this down and do it. I'll just keep the bits at the bottom. It's not an issue to just edit that. Get rid of this one. Come back to this one. The flash flood. Oh my god. It's a flash flood. Boom. What? Save. How many we got? 29,000 characters in chapter 2 now. Not bad. Not bad. Oh wow, natural disasters, eh? Oh, but she's on the ridgeline with her zebra looking at it happen because she's smart. I don't know what happened before that. The moon told her to go to the high ground, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, so from here, of course, we're just going to click on this and do the same thing again. So, you know, I tend to just copy the prompt because it's the same prompt every time. So take the prompt, make a new post with the agent that we programmed, and look at this, web search. And see, do I really want it to have, this is interesting, do I really want it to have web search when it's like upscaling my book? I probably don't. Well, I'm gonna let it rip and see if there's any, do you know what I mean? I'll break it and then report why. It may be that you have to turn that off. Oh man! But I'm going to leave it on and see what it does. I'm going to leave it on because I've already finished the book, so this is literally investigatory. But like I said, it's fully real world because you know it's like it's not just a bit of text; it's a whole book, right? Hey, what's that? Next in AI development, Twitch launches its model, Vigio. Hey, if that was real, look, it could be real. Maybe it is real. I don't even know what to believe when it comes to this sort of thing now. You know, when somebody says, oh, we've got this new thing, it's like, okay, could be. I don't know. The Twitch model. Wouldn't they just call it hot tub live stream checkpoint? Oh, hang on. Page is done. It's fast. Oh no, it's not done. It is fast though. Look at it go. She's a little ripper. Wait, what did you just say? What the hell's that? Her hand found the familiar shaft of her primary spear. Excuse me? Why is it her primary spear? Wait, what? What's going on here? Oh, she's hunting a cat. Oh. Yeah, but I think that she's outmatched. Right, spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Oh my god, it's spoiling the story right now. There are like 12 types of spear. Yeah, but primary spear sounds like a video game thing, you know, like primary weapon, secondary weapon. Like, I would see like a hunting spear and a combat spear. Yeah, you're right. Maybe she's got different types. Okay, so he thinks he's done it. Let's do the whole thing to completion. There we go. Get a bit of page 3 in there. I think I must have confused everybody yesterday because I misspoke and said that that thing was happening tomorrow when I always meant Friday. I think I must have just said tomorrow at the end of the show because I was knackered. And I think I might have confused people, but it's always about the pings. If there's no link in the pings, it's probably not happening. Okay, yep. What's interesting is at the start here, I'll analyze and enhance this chapter using Uno reverse protocols. 200% expansion while preserving narrative integrity of and Sharona's character voice. This is quite a long one, The Alchemist's Dwelling. Look at this. This is The Alchemist's Dwelling, chapter from what appears to be book 1 of Sharona. I'm like, damn. Because I only gave it one chapter. It's like this is like chapter 4. Yeah, this is chapter 4. And it's a completely new chat. I guess it's because of the artifacts. But there's nothing in the artifacts that tell it what book it's on. Do you know what I mean? But it's able to figure that out from the context alone. Which you might think is like not a big thing, but it couldn't do it a year ago. That's what I'm noticing. A whole bunch of quality of life updates that it's like adding MSG to an already good meal. We can debate over whether that's a good thing or not, but it does taste better. And it's so subjective. See, this is something I was saying the other day. We were having a little discussion about it. It's like, what does quality mean when it's subjective anyway? So it's sort of like, if you could say subjectively it was good, does the quality come into that? Like, it's a component, sure. It's like if you manage to achieve subjective acceptance, then people stop looking at the quality because they're like, well, it is what it is. I don't know if that's where we're at, but to something I thought the other day. So yeah, coming back to it. Obviously we need the prompt. Agnostic prompts. They're only agnostic in terms of the page, you know, so it's easy to automate, because I don't want to be... This sort of automation can be tiresome. It's nice to just... I mean, we don't do it like this anymore. We do it with VS Code, but, you know... Nearly done. I love it. It's like, you know, we can actually like ghostwrite the draft for my story in about 20 minutes. And it's kind of like, actually people will be like tuning out. Ah, they're still doing it. And it's like, it only took 20 minutes. I find that hilarious. It's like, listen, if I didn't write the book now, it's not interesting. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean it took you 20 minutes? It should have been instant. To be honest, it is faster on VS Code, because you don't have to like put each page in one after the other like we are here. You can just sort of go, here's a folder of pages, do them all. But yeah. I think a little tip. I want to know if it still works, but it says Untitled at the top. It's writing the page right now. You can see the bar getting smaller. See? It's still shrinking. It's hard to see on the screen, but it's moving away from my mouse. But anyway, it'll give it a name when it's finished. You know, it'll name the page here. It won't be called Untitled. So you can pretty much just ignore it. You don't need to watch it right. Well, I think instant output might be here quicker than you think, Vernica. When the diffusion text models start to come out, and NVIDIA is actually testing a big one right now. So, you know, if things go diffusion, it will be instant output, but you'll have to wait for it to denoise. The contents of your wallet. Well, I said it a year ago and I'll say it again. AI, when people say AI, they say this is the worst it'll ever be. But they don't say this is the cheapest it'll ever be. Price go up. Our only hope is price go up, but the ability goes up faster than they can put up the price. So I'm betting on accelerationism, and I'm also betting on something else. And I'll give you an example. About a month ago, we started building shorts-based AI workflows. So all of my, and they're teasers, you know what I mean? They're designed, the shorts are designed to not really show you what's going on, so that you'll be tempted to click and find out what the hell that was all about. So it's like they go from horizontal to vertical in like you're looking through a letterbox. So it's like you're blinkered. You can't really see what's going on. The subtitles are cut off. It's all by design, right? And whether or not it works, it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, they were all made in a night. So, you know, you automate the entire channel off of 5 live streams, which I got like 150 of. So we put that up, but the reason I'm saying this is the middle section of that process, you had to use either Gemini, which is quite expensive, Gemini 2.5 Pro, because of the million tokens and it can look at video, but it would take forever and it wasn't very good and it was very buggy. Or you could go to a service like Opus.clip, or was it Opus.pro? I forget. But there's a website you go to and they will take the website URL and make all of the clips. So that's pretty much what we ended up going with, right? And then I took the clips and I put them into the vertical format with the tools I created, okay? But the reality is we already had everything up to the point of the vision. That's why we had to use a premium service to make them, right? But here we are. I got a 4GB laptop that's running that vision model that we couldn't run a month ago. So a month ago, you had to pay £30 a month because you can't run it on even a 4090. 1 month later, you're running that same model on a 4GB laptop. So now I don't need to pay the £30 a month. I can write some Python and run it on my laptop. Don't even need the 4090 for it. And this is the insanity that's currently going on. Things develop and increase in ability so quick. You could be literally working on a thing, and then it's redundant because tomorrow something comes out that's like loads better. There's an example actually of this. There's something called SVG Dreamer, which is quite old and I didn't know about. Someone pointed it out. And guess what's coming out? Soon. SVG Dreamer V2. They just put this up, all right? But they haven't put the code up. So hierarchical image vectorization. The paper was up 6 months ago. So this is text to vector. So we've been doing a lot of vector tools. Yeah. So pre-trained text to image model, LoRa model with a reward model, and it's making vector. It's nuts, right? It's basically what we've been, and it'll work with the tools we're making as well, but it solves a lot of things which I can't solve because, yeah. But like I said, the reason I bring this up is that, where is it? Coming soon. And that was 5 months ago. Where is it? I think the guy actually turned it into something else. Let me see. Fusion, is it? Is it Fusion? Dreamer? Oh, he's doing this now. LLM for SVG. Ways to make LLMs do SVG better. So you can train an LLM to do SVG stuff. What's strange though is you'd think, well, where's the model? Can't I just run your pre-trained model? Llama Factory with 2.5 VL. Look, so they want you to train it on 2.5 VL. It's crazy, guys. Or you could train it on DeepSeek R1 Distill Quan 7. Or you could train it on... But, you know, this is by the by. I'm just saying, like, things... You can be working on a thing and then it can be, like, completely redundant. But this one's been updated 3 weeks ago, so I'm sure I'm right. I don't know why it looks months old now I'm looking at it. First released. Oh, it's because they keep updating it. So they made SVG Dreamer++. Editability and diversity in text-guided SVG generation. You see what I mean? Not bad. Not bad. And obviously then you'd put this through image to image, or I would, you know, and it's going to make an epic picture. But it's kind of like you're kind of generating the bit that it used to make it in the first place. It's an interesting approach. It's a lot like what we've been doing with the art grids, but like instead of doing an image input or a text to image input, it actually just generates its own prior and puts that into the workflow. Updated yesterday. Yeah, it seems to be an active area. Look, to be honest, right, the benefits that we've found from using SVG in our workflows has been huge. Like, you can actually see the difference here. It's like clear as day. The background is less, the attention's gone from the background to a point. It's all messy and out of focus, whereas before it was like almost trying too hard to make some of the background, and then that attention gets split away from your character. You know, I know this particular image has got two of them, all right? That's not ideal, but that's just the way it goes. Yeah, because that was the last one. So they're all done now. Nice! Yeah, see, what I wanted to do was really make this into something interesting, but as I say, did I actually get as far as that? Did we get as far as that? I don't think we did. I think that's one thing I've forgotten to talk about, so... Get me my chats. Enhancing a book with you. That one. Right. The Winter Storm. Copy the Winter Storm. Page 5.
As I do.
Copy that. Another one, because this is just an upscaling operation essentially. And then page 5 is page 6. So with this one, we're done. But what I would like to look at while it's doing that is this. So I can't remember if I showed you this, guys, but I gave it the website. I said we can enhance the website and think hard about improving it. We can wait hard before we think hard is something which I found out, I discovered it works well. Come down to here, now let's brainstorm ideas, put those ideas into a document and also put them back in, all right? And then as I go down, we have an improvement plan, which has everything. Yeah, I think I explained up to here. But the interesting thing about this is it went out and it found all the tutorials that it needed to fill in all the blanks from things it didn't know, which it couldn't do before. That's a huge deal. Second thing, it didn't actually give me usable code. Yeah, it went real far to try and get me what I wanted, but then it didn't actually give me, you know what I mean? This is correct. I can read this. This is correct. But it's not something I can use. And what it actually did when it proceeded was just give me look, it just gave me another plan saying I'll do the next thing. So I'd be very careful. This is Opus 4. So I'd be very careful. I would just stick to Sonnet. Sonnet is reliable. I think Opus is more of a big brain research tool. I think it's actually too powerful to be, you know, doing little scripts and things. I think it might actually be too powerful because it's super analytical. You see, and look, he's doing it all, but there's no artifact. Yeah, if I go into the artifacts, look, I'm on version 47, and if you actually read it, yeah, scroll down, look, there's nothing here. Not really. It's like undercooked. It's like part of what we're working on. It's such a small fragment of what we're working on. I worry that he even has it in him to finish the job. And considering how expensive it is, like, I think it'd be better to make the plan with Opus 4 and then take that plan into Sonnet, for example. That's probably a better thing. It's probably a better thing to do, you know. This one. This is probably better. So I'd probably be better just taking that plan and the original HTML file, right? And doing it that way. I might actually let him have a crack at that because we're done with the upscaling now. Yeah, let's let him have a crack at that, shall we? No. I have attached our improvement plan for my SVG vector text animation web page. It's terrible. I love how it blanks off sometimes the first few things you type. So we've got it attached, and then I just need the index itself. Oh man, where is it? Did I copy paste it? I must have dragged it from the local folder. Oh, that's driving me mad. Tick, tick. For crying out loud. You know when things go missing? Like I was literally just looking at it. I was literally just looking at it. Where is it? Oh, it must have been on my laptop. Right. This. Save as. Yeah, sure. There. Okay. Right. Let him cook. Now. Let's just copy this text into there and then manuscript is done. Final panel description. Sharona and a zebra, tiny figures against the vast landscape, moving south through resource scarcity zones towards distant warmth. What a nice story. They literally walk off into the sunset. Oh, there's a lot there. Mr. Ambition over here. Alright, let's just finish the paste here. Save. Oh no! Oh no. Wrong thing. Oh. Didn't paste it, did I? Uh-huh. Okay. Good. And good. The Abandoned Alchemist. Alright, that was fun. So I like I said, I'm not going to go through it in the detail on stream, but that's what I'm looking for. Try to compare the things. Yes, the seed does have a huge impact, but I'm looking for new patterns of operation which seem to be emerging. Honestly, I think it's a great model. The vibes are good. How about that? Alright. So that one is finished. That one is finished. What would you like me to tackle first, he says. I don't know. Gradient text, rotation control. I don't know. Do you know what? I'm just going to say proceed. Because I want him to do all of those things. I don't care what order he does them in. Yeah, Dragon just said the Hugging Face link that he pointed out, which I think was for that SVG Dreamer, was updated yesterday. Yeah, it may be that they're getting ready to do a major release. So it's just something else to sort of keep aware of. Pretty much everything, you know. We've pretty much done everything I wanted to look at tonight. I'm just trying to check my notes, see if I've missed anything here. We just kind of fired through it all. I think it's because, what's it called? What's the name of the VO. Yeah, basically the Google video generator, you know, they took it away. This is a bit like what happened when I was about to show everybody, oh guys, remember you can do video training on Civet now, and then it just like disappeared. Yeah, because the day I was going on about it, they took it down. I was like, ah, shit. But that's coming back online, right? So I wonder, do we have a video data set we can throw on the trainer real quick? I think we do. Let's find out. Because what I would like to do is have something to test before the show tomorrow. It's like a bit of revision, I guess. Let me just see. AI contract work. No. AI archives. Data sets. Do I have the video data sets on here? Video. All I have is Buster Keaton. I wonder what. See what I mean? Oh man. It's probably on that other computer. It's probably on that other computer. Yeah, if that's... I think it's on my other computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my laptop home. While I'm reading Sharona, I'll go digging through... what's it called? I'll go digging through this old laptop because I reckon there's a bunch of projects and code on there that I forgot to publish. I think it's mostly like missing narrative buckets and stuff from when we... and like books we wrote during the last big writing thing. And... I can listen. When OpenRouter gets Claude 4, I have to test all of the things again. This is the event I was talking about, and it's really important because, like, there is no software, the TINS NCP, and all of that stuff. Every time we get a new version like this, it gets better. So that means I have to rebuild all of the things that worked, and and evaluate them again. Just to, because that's part of the experiment, right? You need to see that the future proofing actually works. So that means rebuilding the tins and seeing if the programs are as good or better. We would expect them to be better, logically, right? We'd expect them to naturally improve along with the models that created them. But this remains to be proven, doesn't it? You see what I mean? So that's the sort of thing that I'm thinking about at the moment. Yeah, I don't have the video data sets on here, and if they are, they're locked away in some archive somewhere I can't find. Annoying. I've got all the image data sets, but only 2 video data sets. Now the reason for that is actually because some of them are actually just image training. But I do have some video training models which I want to use. It's annoying. Not much I can really do about that. Bugger. Okay, right, well. In that case, I'm going to let everybody get off early tonight. One thing I will say, though, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be starting at 8 on Twitch, Civet AI. There'll be a link in the pings, okay? So get out of here and enjoy your evenings. We're having a hot summer. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And look out for that link. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about video training on the Civet AI Twitch. So again, please like the stream. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.